Hey folks, this is Kirk Almighty. Welcome back. This is episode 2 of my Advanced Tactics Gold multiplayer game, PBEM versus Mike, aka Vince McMahon, aka Air General Mike. Now, I'm sure you watched episode 1 already, and you know that in this game we had a long time. We had a year, and then after a year, our diplomatic blocked me over, and we could declare war. Well, I made, I think, my first episode around turn 6, and now I'm up to turn 12, which means, and I went second in turn 12. He went first, which means after I end my turn and it goes to his turn, it will be turn 13, and he can declare war if he wants. So I figured this was a pretty good time to make a video, and I'll show you where I'm at now. Now, if you recall, I discussed my plans about building a bunch of strategic bomber 3s, and let's see here. I've got a series of airports over here. This one just has fighters on it. I've garrisoned to some degree all these airports. I noticed he built an airport here. This is something that just popped up. So he wants to be able to strike back in here, or maybe just get fighter coverage around here. I also had to consider the possibility of airdrops. So I actually backed a guy out over here. I wasn't quite able to get men into this right away for a garrison, so that one's a little vulnerable, that raw, if he decides to go after that. But I managed to get other things all garrisoned up here, things that would be within range of a paradrop. All of these air bases, of course, have garrisons on them. If they're not garrisoned right at this moment, they have an engineer there and garrisons on their way. The TOE system will fill garrisons there, but I have an engineer there too. And let's see, I've got flak protecting all 4 of these airfields, and I've got a fighter station right here set to intercept. And one of the other things I noticed is, a while back he built a road out to here, but then he just kind of stopped. And then he built a tank factory here. And then the last couple turns, I guess I wasn't paying attention. He probably just did within the last couple turns. He did this. My guess is he's probably going to build. He might be building a shipyard there, possibly, so he could build subs and send them out here. I had given some consideration at the very beginning of the game of possibly building down here a shipyard or port in order to give me access into his waters, and I still plan on doing that at some point. I just wanted to focus mainly on this central island before I worry too much about getting Navy back into his stuff. But one of the reasons I built this airfield here as far north as I did, but still far enough away, and I'm wagering that I can hold him here, and he's not going to be able to push in close enough to really threaten these airfields. But with these strategic bombers, if he decides to pop up on his turn and build a shipyard there, or use my idea of building some kind of a port or something here to get access here, I'm just going to destroy it with these strategic bombers. That's my plan. So when it comes to his turn, if that thing pops up there, say a shipyard, before he even comes back around again to have an opportunity to build anything with it, I intend to destroy it. And that way I can keep submarines and whatnot out of my waters over here, start disrupting my supplies, because I've got a lot of supplies flowing from this island back here over to here. Supplies flow a lot easier than equipment does. I seem to have been losing a lot of equipment doing that, which is why I've got so many factories built over here. And I've noticed he's got, I have not seen any armor yet, but see, I don't know what these guys are. I don't know what he's got sitting back a little ways. What I have seen though is that's a tank factory. There's 2 tank factories. So I think he has armor here. And what I've done as a contingency to help me with that is I've got them back here. I started building some, and I built some down here too. These are just little anti-tank units. They're going to be mobile, and they're going to be for whatever I need them for, primarily for defense, but possibly for offense too. If you look at the TOE system, there's 2 guns, 2 horses in each unit. And TOE is going to be filling in this turn. And I can take these things and just move them up and park them anywhere along the line I need them, where I'm worried about an armor attack, to try and hold that. I have good terrain versus armor. These trees will help with some entrenchment. As you know, my infantry gun 4s have pretty decent anti-armor capability, but still not as good as an actual anti-tank gun. So this is just an insurance policy to help against any kind of armored attack. I think I can hold that back. I don't think this is just really super favorable terrain for an armored attack. So my units are built offensively too, so I hope to be able to push into his territory. I almost need more mortars there, don't I? I do have some more mortars being built and sent into the central HQ here this round. I may have to look at my production a little. I really need to save up 100 PP because I need to upgrade another raw somewhere. I'm thinking this one. I'm just not producing enough raw to do what I want to do. I've got some very expensive equipment. It took a lot of raw to build these strategic bombers. Anyway, this is like where we're at here. This was a pretty interesting scenario here that Mike set up. And winter is retreating. The mud up north is going to be gone next turn when it comes to turn 13. And we're going to have several turns. I don't know how many, maybe 7 or 8 turns, good turns before the mud and winter starts to set back in to conduct combat operations. So we'll see what happens. It looks like he's focusing a bit of attention around here. I have a feeling he may be considering an offensive operation up here and thinking of holding down here. Might not be a bad idea for me to get some dive bombers in here too, if he does come in with some armor. But hopefully my strategic bombers are really going to wreak some havoc. I've got a target-rich environment here for them. If I can manage it and his air defenses aren't strong enough to really stop me right off. I mean, there's lots of factories here I can destroy. And yeah, I notice an error too. Like you look in here and it says indestructible. Well, I created a random scenario, which this is a random scenario, using a new Dawn 3, and I looked into settings, and actually basically anything you build is destructible. And I thought they were, but I just had to double check because that was throwing me off. Factories, fortresses, airfields, just about anything that you actually construct, all the different factories, is destructible. Ports, shipyards. So that's a good thing, because I believe I can really deal some serious damage with these. I did some testing in a game versus AI with these strategic bomber 3s, and I just built 4. And with that 4, I attacked a city, and now granted there were no anti-aircraft guns in that city, and there were no fighters intercepting. I did not bring along fighters either. I just had 4 straight strategic bomber 3s, and I knocked the lock in that city down to 160. So in these groups I got 5. One of them has 6, and the fighters can actually do a little bit of damage towards the lock themselves. Theoretically speaking, one attack should knock that lock down to 0. It should destroy a factory. This one in a force is going to get some cover. It might be a little tougher. I don't know. Well, city gets cover too. If he can knock out a city in one attack, he should be able to knock out even that factory in one attack. So once we actually get into the game, if he declares war next round, then we'll see. If he doesn't, I probably will. It's been long enough, and I'm ready to go. It's time to get at it. Time to start war. With that, I'll end this video, and we'll just see what happens.